Now that you've had a chance to decompress a little bit, how impressed are you with just the grit and the resilience that this group has shown the whole way along?
Yeah, I know it's obviously a good feeling to come back, but we're on earth again. Like for me in the playoffs, you get it back to earth as soon as possible. You talk about it, obviously last night, you enjoy it for maybe 2 seconds, then you're back because you know what's ahead and what's coming your way, and you got to be ready for it.
Carson talked about wanting to get out to a better start. What else do you guys need to build on here?
Yeah, I mean, I think some execution plays, I think. I thought for the most part, the defensive part, I think our breakouts were just okay. I think that's something we got to really talk about for tomorrow. I didn't like our breakouts. I mean, there's always something that you want to correct, and you always have to expect the other team's going to play their best, and that means you have to play your best. You always have to think that way.
Rick, it's bottom line business, and obviously at the end of the night, you asked, did you win? I just wonder, though, for a fan base here in this market that's been starved for playoff hockey for the better part of a decade, do you have an appreciation for the moments that you guys have delivered already in just 7 playoff games?
Yeah, I mean, for me, how loud, for me, that's why I go game to game. I don't, and obviously they're starving, I get it, but the energy they give us is what I go for. It's incredible. So I think they're enjoying the moment, and it's a game-to-game thing for me. And I just know they're going to be loud again tomorrow. That's the way I look at it. But I'm glad they're watching playoff hockey. I mean, they're starving for it. You're right.
You get asked about PD on a daily basis. This isn't a question about him offensively, but he led your team in third period ice time last night. You guys were trying to chase to get the lead, and then once you had it, you're protecting that lead. Through his offensive struggles, what is it about him defensively that you still like, you trust, that allowed him to play almost 9 minutes of the third?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very underrated two-way hockey player. Sometimes when you're pressing to score, sometimes I think he was pressed to score. He lost a little bit of that, and I find him getting that two-way game back. He's going to score. And I don't want him to squeeze a stick, but I think that I saw him try to hit there in the third period. He ran a couple of guys. He blocked that shot in the last minute. I mean, there's enough good things for him to build on. He should go into tomorrow with a confidence. And I still have I played him 9 minutes. I have confidence in the kid. If I didn't, I wouldn't play him. So he's got, you're right. Playing him 9 minutes, I think he knows that, I got his back. He's got my back. That's the way it works.
Rick, the idea of your team being confident when down, you've sort of developed this comeback confidence. In your experience, how much value is there in that, through the playoffs and maybe even to get one early in a series like this? You're probably going to find yourselves down again at some point.
Yeah.
What's the value there?
Well, the value for me is the frustration that we've worked on as a group, the last year and a half, every day about frustration, because I think that was something that we talked about early as a group together, even the other coaches, that sometimes we got frustrated. And I think as the last year and a half has gone on, we've really worked on that. I think when you don't get as frustrated and you don't get upset and the disconnect with the bench, I think it's tough to come back. So to me, it's a connected group when we're down. I don't see the frustration, but we've worked on that. It's been a daily thing. It's a mental thing. Not getting frustrated. You're down 3. Bad things happen. Guy jumps on you get the penalty there. Unfortunate. Yeah, we don't want to do it. Somebody makes a mistake, and they score the goal. I didn't see a lot of frustration. Yeah, the guys were pissed that we did it, but I didn't see a lot of frustration.
Rick, Carson reminded us that the team had a lot of belief even before the playoffs. It's only been 7 games, but there seems to have been a lot packed into those 7 games. How much growth have you seen in your team the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, there's a lot. I think there's the experience these last 2 weeks is kind of accelerated, because if you watch all these different games, we've played a game where the other team played, dominated us and we won. There's been a game where we've played excellent hockey and we lost. We've played, we've had to come from behind, the 2 6-on-5 goals, coming back from 3 goals. There's been 2 weeks of different type of games, and I think that's how you grow from experience. From that, you've almost, we've been there. Oh yeah, we saw that. Oh, we've done this. We saw it. Small sample size, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. But that's why I have a lot of respect for the Tampas, Colorados, because they've seen it for years. They've done it for 5 years. And we're getting a crash course, and guys are starting to get it.
I'm just curious, for us, Zadorov is a really interesting guy to talk to.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of thoughts. I don't know what your conversations are like with him, but how is he to coach?
Yeah, I was told by some other people, I'm not going to name them, that you'll love this guy. So I got some intel early. The thing with Z, like, I didn't know this, but he came up to me, I think 2 weeks in, he goes, "Hey, Toc," I think I forget how it went down. He goes, "I had Daryl Sutter, so don't be afraid to scream at me and get mad at me. I can take it." Like, he, right away, this was 2 weeks in. And then one time we scratched him. It was more a maintenance thing, and he was pissed about it. He came on. We had a great talk for about half an hour. I thought that was a big key, the way he turned his whole game around. Like, he was good, but I thought he'd take it to another level. He's a guy that he's not afraid to speak his mind, and he integrates with everybody. Like, he's probably the first guy guys called over to dinner. He's one of those guys, and he lightens the mood on the bench. I got to tell you.
The last one, the one in Arizona?
Yeah, we had a conversation, and he didn't like it, but, I'm not going to share what exactly was said, but he was awesome in the meeting, and it helped me understand him.
A lot of talk in the last round about just not having a ton of offense. To get 5 goals last night, really 5 goals for the first time in 2 months, what does that do for the group just in terms of maybe alleviating some offensive stress?
Well, I think even for guys that have struggled scoring, it loosens you up, and maybe it loosens our team up a little bit. But I think that there's things out there that we can do better. I know we scored 5 goals. I mean, they scored 4. They could add a couple more. So I think it's a chess match mentally too, right? You got to win different ways, and hopefully, scoring those goals will loosen guys up.
The thought that you guys could have 5 and Quinn not get a point is something we wouldn't expect. Still led your team in ice time, 25 minutes. What was your takeaway from his game last night?
Yeah, I thought, like I said, every game, I very rarely Huggy's had a bad game. Like, he's always done something. Whether he doesn't get a point, he's a focal point for the other team. So his breakouts, maybe his regroups, it could be anything. Keeping a puck into the blue line. Every shift, I told the players, it's not about points and assists. Yeah, obviously our big guys got to get their goals. I get it, but it's the little things that matter. And if you don't score, you better be doing something else good. And I think he does other things really good for us.
Hey, what's the decision-making process on goaltending from picking him as the starter yesterday, choosing to stick with him in the second period? Coaching, you might do the safe thing, but you have a rookie in net, and you've really stuck by him. What's your decision-making process through that process?
It's right in the moment. Like, they score the 4th goal. You're thinking, what do I do here? Maybe rely on a couple people to pick their brain. But you don't have much time, and then you go with your gut. And then, like today, you go through the same process. You talk to your people, your round table, and then you make your decision. That's the way I kind of like it. I'm a round table guy. It's not just me, and then I can, obviously I got to make the decision. But it's yesterday's in the moment. Today's more you kind of, okay, let's talk about it type of thing.
And then is it a game-by-game decision? Does he start tomorrow, or where's that at?
Well, I think he's earned the right now to play, but that doesn't mean we haven't officially made I haven't talked to Clark. We haven't laid a roundtable yet, but the one thing we have Casey, and Casey can play. He could play tomorrow. He's he had a couple a little bit of an injury a long time ago, and I think he's past it. So he is definitely a viable option for us.
Rick, the cameras caught a nice moment of you at the end of the game, kind of high-fiving fans on the way out. Just raw emotion there. Can you describe the adrenaline rush? Like, you've done it as a player, as an assistant coach. What's this moment like when you come from behind and have that unexpected win?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I usually kind of try not to do that stuff. It's just, I don't know why. It was just like to hang in there. They had they were buzzing around there, and we just kind of held the fort. I don't know. I saw a couple of fans as you're going. I don't know. Probably feel sorry for that one guy smacked his hand pretty hard, but I usually don't do that. It's you live in the moment. I'm not, something, I try to be even keel. Like, I hate the roller coaster ride. But I just let it out. I don't know. Yeah.
The fourth and the fifth goal were different, but feel like the same. That you guys controlled the neutral zone. You attacked with power. What did you see on those goals in terms of how you guys wanted to play through the middle of the ice?
Well, the Garland one was, I like the transition, and, we look for that bump back play. I'm not saying, we've talked about the bump back, and sometimes it's there. You just give the player a concept, and obviously Dakota and Garza, I forget who passed up. Was it Z? Who passed? Yeah, Z. Obviously, they connected, and they know. We've practiced that before. So I think it's just giving a player a concept, but when to use it, it's on them. And they felt at that time, hey, Dakota felt, hey, I'm going to the middle in this play. So, that's what I get most proud about it, when you give players the concepts and then they decide at what time do they do it at, or this is the right time to do it. So those three guys really connected on that play.
And then just to go back to the goalie question, in that discussion, have you talked to Archers about last night? Have you had any kind of discussion with him?
No, I know he met with Ian about 45 minutes ago. I don't know what was said.
And just to review the game and whatever else there might be, that kind of.
Yeah, they review the game. I don't really review the game with the goalies. So that's not my, my thing.
Did you say anything to him post game, or was there any kind of, or did you just leave?
Well, I saw him. We got to get him blackout blinds, so I got to make sure he's staying in an apartment. I guess there's no blackout blinds, so that's what I'm dealing with. He's been here 3-4 weeks, and he decides that I need blackout blinds. Like, get him now. Let's go.
So you're just in a dad mode then, really?
Yeah. I'll do the blackout blinds. Clarky can do the other stuff. It's already been handled, by the way.
Connor only had one point, but only no shots last night. First time in the playoffs. Also in the regular season, you guys seem to do a good job. I know it's relative to what he has done against other teams, but what's been the keys to the job you've done against him, and does it change in the playoffs?
No, we have some strategies. I'm not saying it always works all the time. This guy's he's the best. He's going to be the best ever. And you got to remember, we got him early, start of the year, when things weren't great for them, and he never played the last game. So I don't know how much stock I take in it, on the fact that we're playing a team game. I don't know if we have any magic against him, because, like I said, it was October. It was many months ago, and we haven't seen him since then. So, I don't know. I don't take any stock in it.
What Carson Soucy talked about, the forwards playing a big role. Like, what are the keys to trying to continue to?
Well, I think when you defend, you got to skate forward. Even I don't like backwards skating, and I think that helps us defend better. We've preached that all year. You cannot defend Connor McDavid skating backwards. You have to skate forward. So whatever position you got to get in before to skate forward, that's what we preach.
Before game one, Rick, you said that you like to win 2-1, and your team is good at winning 2-1. Do you enjoy as much winning 5-4 when you're down 4-1? And how stressful can it be for a coach?
I love winning. I don't care how we win. I just think when you win 2-1 throughout the season, it gives your team resolve. Like I just feel when you win 2-1, and don't get me wrong, I love winning 6-4, whatever, and it's nice for guys to fill the net and feel good, but I just feel when you win 2-1, your team's not antsy. We're not pressing. Like, guys, I don't have a point. Sometimes I've been on some teams, the guy doesn't have a point. You're winning 2-1, all of a sudden, I got to do something out of character, and then all of a sudden, the other team scores and you lose the game or whatever. So I find this team doesn't care. Like, yeah, we still want to press the envelope, but I don't think they care about stats right now, that's what I like about this team.
Rick, you said earlier you guys are back on earth now after that big
Well, I
high.
haven't talked to players. I hope we are.
Is that easier said than done, especially coming off a win like that, maybe, as opposed to Edmonton's got to be super motivated? How do you kind of manage that with your guys to make sure they're where they need to be?
Yeah, the hardest part, I think, just from experience, is when you have a high, which we had last night. There's many games left. Now coming back to earth, and now how do you get back to that passion, that level again? Like there's a turnaround there. It's hard, and that comes from experience, and that's from hopefully us coaches relaying the right message, the leadership group. There's a lot of people in play here to get that switch back. But today, I'm pretty sure this group's back on earth. They know, hey, that was great, but we got a long way to go, and that game tomorrow is huge. And how do we correct some of the mistakes, and how do we some of the stuff that we did well continue? Is it sustainable? You have to play that mental thing in your head I think it's important.
You've got to figure they'll be more desperate, and that's natural for the team that lost to be a little more desperate. Is that also a challenge, trying to match that, because they'll be coming?
It's a challenge, but I've always felt, even as a player, like, I don't understand, well, they're going to come tomorrow. Of course they're going to come tomorrow. Well, why can't we? Like, I've never, like that, sometimes I've never understood, like, players think, well, they're going to come tomorrow. Okay, well, we better come. Like, it's just, you don't go there. Like, yeah, McDavid or Draisaitl or Echo, they're great players. They're going to play a great game tomorrow. So put yourself in a position to play a great game. That's the way you got to look at it.
Quinn talked last night about you removing the stink from the locker room. You've been asked about the comebacks in these playoffs and resiliency. How does a coach take a group of players that has become so used to losing and give them that level of belief?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think when a coach going in a situation, I think you got to build on. I've talked to you guys. They are pillars and staples. I think you have to fall on those. And I think whether the stink or whatever the stink is, I think if you create a foundation, guys can always fall back on. And the one thing I've noticed this year, and I've backed off, I don't say it as much anymore. There's certain things I don't say, because I think as a coach, if you keep saying it, players get tired of it. They're saying it. They're actually the ones telling you guys now. I don't say it anymore. They say it. So I think we've built that kind of relationship where, I don't have to go in there and tell them, because it's the wah, 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 right? I remember I played the game. I played with Kelly. We don't want to hear the same thing. It's the right thing to say, the coach said, but let the player say it. And I think that's what Huggy's saying, like, where they're saying it now. They've removed the stink, or whatever you want to say. It's not me anymore. They've removed it, and that's and that's a day-to-day thing.